trying to go live.
Instagram giving the problems.
And I almost hit the end stream button by accident. Welcome, everybody, to Crossing the Streams, episode 160. What?
Ooh.
Yes, we are here to talk about binge watching. If you have used up all your shows and you don't know what to watch, you've come to the right place. We have over 750,000 hours of entertainment binge watching experience among the five of us. I'm excited to bring back a second time on the show, Spider Dan. Tonya, Todd's joining us for the third time. Oh my gosh. Zack is here for the 100 millionth time. And of course, Mick, 100 million and one time. What's up, everybody? What's up? That's where you guys
up?
What's
yes,
up?
Silence.
Stuff.
And I was like,
Yeah, I thought it was for like the audience for some reason, not so much for us.
Was not ready for that question.
No. Yes,
and Barry's here. Got Lee's here.
See, they knew.
Oh,
Yeah, they went.
He wasn't
they went
asking us.
I don't know. I don't know what the appropriate answer is for what's up.
I know what's going on. How's it, Spider Dan? What are you up to these days?
I am currently guest spotting on a lot of podcasts at the moment. I've just done Banned Books with Tonya. That's going on at the moment. Check out Tonya's Banned Books podcasts or YouTube videos. Amazing series. I love it. Third year in the row. Brilliant. I've been on 2 of them. Fantastic journey. Just check all that out. Don't worry about my stuff later. Go and check that out right now because it's happening right now.
This is the real reason I invite him to join us, is so that he can pitch for me.
Yeah, easy job. Amazing. Just amazing message, amazing people, amazing books. Just check all of that out. Don't miss it. Don't miss any of it before the Banned Books week is over.
All right, sounds amazing. Antonia, what are you up to when you're?
Well, as you heard, I'm right smack in the middle of Banned Books Week, and I have a series called Banned Books Conversations. And, today happens to be the episode that Dan is a guest on, and we talk about Invisible Man. I'm also, as we discussed earlier, working on a Dracula retelling from Mina's perspective, and I'm working on my second Comics Lit essay that has to do with Batman and King Henry.
Nice.
Amazing. And Zack Wiseman, what's up with you? What are you up to these days? What of your 50 podcasts are you focused on in the last couple of days?
Yeah, well, obviously, I've been working very hard on my my favorite podcast called Criminal Geometry, and it's where we go over villains that are different shape based. Last week, you could, if you listen to the podcast, we went over a villain called the Quadrant. Next week, we're going over a new villain called Angleman. So you can check that out anywhere. Criminal Geometry. That's one of my dumb shows.
I don't even know if you're joking or not.
And I see Dan is salivating. He can't wait to.
I'm
sounds
ready.
completely made up, but it also sounds like it's something 100% you would do.
I have so much work to do starting right now to get this done.
Sounds like a very obtuse podcast.
And our friend Mick from the Scene Snob is here as well.
That's all I remember. That's all I remember from my high school education.
If you need a co-host, Dan's your man.
Yeah, that's so cute.
Very cool. Very cool. We are live on the YouTube. We're live on Instagram. We are live everywhere. All right. Okay. So a couple things. One,
I don't think we heard what Mick is doing.
Just hanging out. Just kind of having fun. I'm watching the Mr. McMahon documentary.
So he wrote a letter saying he kind of spoke against it or whatever. I don't know why people think when people make documentaries it's going to be favorable.
Well, there's a lot of things have come to light, haven't they, recently about Mr. McMahon? So I am interested in watching that documentary.
That's pretty crazy so far.
Let me ask you a question.
No.
Needed to exist or didn't need to exist? Squid Games 2.
No.
Wasn't Squid Games 1 just perfect? I just don't.
They nailed it. Yeah.
I
It
don't.
was
Do we need
wonderful.
more
So
Squid Games?
why risk ruining that?
Yeah,
It was so disturbing. Do we need more?
yeah. I
don't
feel
know.
I
No
feel
way,
like
shape, or form.
yeah, I feel like if you genuinely watched all that show, that summed up perfectly what was going on, start to finish. The only way to extend that is to, I think, ruin the reputation of that show.
Right. I agree. I don't even know where they, because I think originally like the guy was going to go back and try and stop it. But I mean, the whole plot of the first one, or one of the subplots of the first one, was a cop with actual experience, maybe being able to do something like that, failing. So it's
Yeah.
like, just the random guy now, he
Yeah,
can do
man.
it. It's like, oh man. Okay.
They're gonna have something. There's gonna be some kind of connection. I bet the old man's his dad.
I bet.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm not ready to talk about it yet, but I just want to throw it out there in case anyone else wants to start watching it. I'm way behind on this, but I feel like most of the world is, I think, Slow Horses. I
Hmm.
mean, it just won another award. I think it's in season 5, but I'd never really heard anyone ever go, "Hey, have you seen Slow Horses?" But I watched season 1.
Never
And
heard anyone say that.
Do genuinely? You sent me a message that you're watching Slow Horses, and it erased from my mind. Like whenever I hear Slow Horses, it goes away immediately. I have no idea what this is about.
so let me just give me a 30-second version of this, and I'll do a full recap on the next show. But Slow Horses is one of the best shows out there. I mean, no, I'm not even joking. I am absolutely not joking. It takes place in London. So I'm surprised Spider Dan is not fully aware of the show. It's about Emma.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I know.
You
of
better
it.
know everything, Spider Dan.
Yeah, it's MI. It's about MI5. It's about MI5 rejects. Gary Oldman is, I mean, so incredible in the show. I mean, it's like it's anyway,
Now you have my attention.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, they're only 6 episode seasons, and I mean, season 1 is as good as any show I've ever seen.
That's
ever.
how you do it. You don't have these series go on and on and on and on
No.
like you Americans
yeah.
I know.
have
it's
with
Americans.
your series. You
We just go
Americans
on
have them go
forever.
on
And
forever and ever and ever. We just go right 6 episodes.
Yep.
done.
Doctor Who.
Game
Quickly
over.
sum that
No
right up.
NCIS bullshit for 20 years.
I'm telling everyone to watch that because I'm going to review that pretty soon. And then the other show, which when it's done, season 1's done, I'll talk about it. But I'm loving Bad Monkey.
Me too. It is done. Yeah. Yesterday's episode is the last one of the season, I think.
No,
Yeah, I think it's 8 episodes.
no, there's no way that was the last episode.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, it's not.
Genuinely, I think
I
don't
watched
know, I'm
it.
making
I
that
watched
up.
it. It can't be the last. There's no way it's the last episode.
I have
that's
a
what I'm
pretty
making
big
up.
gripe with shorter seasons of TV shows. I think like 6 to 8 episodes is not enough for a television show. That seems like you're not good at editing your work, and it should have been a movie. I feel that for a TV show, that should be character based, and to get a good characterization of people, you need to spend time with these people. And I think that the reason that some shows like The Office, even the original Office, like those shows are so good because you spent so much time with these characters that you get to understand why their decisions are important, and not just seeing them make decisions that are well written. So sometimes I prefer a little more longevity in these characters, just to sit with them and learn their world and learn their points of view, and not just have I haven't seen the show, so I'm sure it's amazing. Gary Oldman is one of the
I'd
best actors of all
argue
time.
only like Breaking Bad, because Breaking Bad only used like 10, maybe 13 episodes season, and they 5 and out. So like, and that's one of the best shows on TV, and they did great characterization.
Yeah, I think it's just how well you tell the story, right, Zach? I mean, like Bad Monkey, by the way, is 10 episodes. Number 8 just came.
I know.
out.
I said I made it up.
Okay. And then, but like Slow Horses, it's a contained story, and then the next episode 7 or season 2, episode 1 is like practically the next day, but it's like it's a new story. So it's like you're still building right on those characters, and everything kind of just builds on itself. But I mean, it's tight. I mean, if you're thinking it's like 6 hours, I mean, most movies only 2.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean-
one of the best series I've ever watched, Scavenger's Reign, is I think 10 episodes, and that is the best show of all time. And so I guess that I can argue myself, and I'll pull myself out of this argument. I don't need that in my life.
I think if it, I will say American Horror Story is always, no matter how many episodes, the last half is always off the rails.
Sometimes you spend too much time with characters, and
Yes.
they kind of run their course, and you're tired of
I
it.
mean, I think if you know what the story is,
Walking Dead.
yeah.
Oh,
I
yes.
think Slow Horses and Bad Monkey, I think benefit both are from books. So,
But
I think
didn't Walking Dead and the American Office start with 6 episodes in their first seasons?
Yeah, a miniseries. Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, she just swooped in and
No, that's fair. Yeah.
smacked you.
I was really talking myself out of that statement. I'm usually good at filling time when I get nervous, and I chose the wrong subject for that one. But I'll probably stand by it tomorrow. So I'll check in with you guys later.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, we're in episode 160, and so, but last week we talked about Rebel Ridge, Beetlejuice. I think Tonya has got some opinions she wants to share on that real quick. And we talked about The Perfect Couple. And then today we're going to talk about Chimp Crazy, Evil, Once Upon a Time in Mexico,
Hell yeah.
and Interview with the Vampire Season 2.
Nice.
I will, Tonya, what are your thoughts on Beetlejuice?
Oh, it was better than I expected it to be. That was another thing that I didn't think needed to happen. Or, like we were saying, Squid Games. It was, why are we messing with this movie? And so many years later, I'd say it's the best sequel that didn't need to be made.
Yeah.
I agree.
And they made some great choices in dealing with some of the absent characters, and the claymation was great. Like just some of their storytelling elements, they were very creative and they made really good choices. There are some things I didn't love. The story was very, very, very predictable, but it was still entertaining, and we got Dolores out of it.
Yeah, sure.
All right. There you go.
I mean, yeah, I just thought it was just too long, too convoluted.
I felt that the bad guy, the 3 bad guys were underdeveloped and kind of ended nowhere, but it was the most fun I've had in a movie experience in a while. It was really enjoying to watch. I was
glad I saw it.
Yeah, same. Exactly.
I was not disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that they could have done more with Dolores, though. Like I wanted more of her, but maybe it's better that they didn't overexpose her, and that's why we wanted more, because it wasn't like, okay, enough with her now.
Yeah.
And I'm also glad they didn't turn Beetlejuice into a good guy. They didn't decide, you know what, let's make him the reluctant hero now.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. He was still 100% himself.
Yep.
All right.
Good review.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Let's kick things off. I really want to hear about Chimp Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about Chimp Crazy on Max.
Oh, yeah. I'm a sucker for the majority of terrible documentaries. Obviously, we all know that when COVID started, Tiger Kings was the most amazing thing that anyone has ever seen, and that just mostly revolves around the selling and storing of animals that should not be held by humans or owned, period. So when this came out, as you see on the poster, it says from the creators of Tiger King, and I'm like, oh man, it's another one of these. I'm so in. Let's get into this. Immediately, you realize that this is not just watching these people with their lives and how they want to buy and sell chimpanzees or great apes or any kind of animals. The story starts back in 1997 with a little film called Buddy. And Buddy, directed by Carolyn Thompson. If you remember, it is Rene Russo, and she's with a bunch of primates. There's a bunch of apes and a bunch of monkeys. And one of these monkeys on here is, his name was Tonka. And he was, in most people's opinion, the most gorgeous chimpanzee on the face of the earth. He got so many jobs. He was in charge of so many commercials, so many franchises built around Tonka. Even Alan Cummings of Traders fame was in the movie Buddy, and he kind of fell in love and had a connection. Not fell in love like romantically, but just as knowing an animal that you can. he fell in love with Tonka and tried to keep in contact or understand where Tonka was going. Once he became more involved with PETA, he realized that most animals should not be done in movies, and it's kind of a terrible experience for them, the handling of which. So it turns out he went on a search to look for Tonka, and he couldn't find them. And everyone said, oh, yeah, Tonka died, which was pretty interesting to him. So PETA put out a $10,000 reward to find Tonka. They think that Tonka was alive, and they can't understand what happened to this chimp. Alan Cummings doubled that reward and made it $10,000 more, so $20,000. So pretty much you're following a person that was in Tonka's life as an animal handler, as someone who was at one time breeding and selling these exotic apes. Apparently, in the state of Missouri, you can own any animal possible. You can own anything you want to own if you live in Missouri. Most states you can't own a chimpanzee. Most states you can't own a zebra for some reason. Some states you can't own a crocodile. In Missouri, you can own everything. So in Missouri, you find a lot of these animal shelters or these habitats for very, very sad monkeys. So you follow this one woman, and she's in front of a jury, and she's telling people, "Hey, I'm sorry, this monkey died. I have its bones right here." And she holds up what looks like, coffee grinds. And you're like, I just don't think that's a monkey. And now I'm invested in where this monkey is for no reason whatsoever. The whole docuseries wraps up in 4 episodes. So you have just 4 rough hours of this woman. The thing that is so attractive about this show is the cliffhangers. I don't know how they did this, but every single ending of the show made me throw my remote control at the television because I wanted to watch more right away. I can tell you that you end up kind of finding out what happens to Tonka, and it's a crazy ride. It's 4 episodes. It's on Max. Very quick watch, and just so extremely intriguing about how this woman kind of loves chimpanzees more than her own children, and she would do some devious things to make sure that certain chimpanzees are safe and get to live forever, even if it is at the harm of a lot of other people. So yeah, if you're into that kind of stuff, it's not Tiger Kings. It's not commercialized breeding and handling of these things. It is the other side of that, is that you're following a woman as she breaks because of what she's been doing with this chimpanzee. Please check it out. It was so interesting to me. You're good.
That sounds like the plot of the monkey on Friends.
Oh yeah, he had a life.
Marcel.
Yeah,
when he goes to the zoo and your monkey's dead. Your monkey's not dead. And he's like, they took him away. They took him away from here. You want more information? I'll give me some money. He goes, and Ross is like, you just gave me all the information. And that's like, why would I pay you? He's like,
Homer Simpson, isn't it? Dan Castellaneta.
Yeah.
Exactly. So funny. Welcome everybody on the Instagram.
Good.
If you want to watch on YouTube, comment YouTube on Instagram, and we'll send you a link to your DM so you can watch us on YouTube and a much more vertical, horizontal. This is horizontal. I have to learn it. I should write it down. It's just I always get confused. Anyway, so Chimp Crazy is good because Tiger King is sort of a hatchet job. If you rewatch Tiger King, it's a real hatchet job.
It is. It's awful.
Yeah.
Like this is a better version of what, I think Tiger King is like a TMZ version of what could have been put out. This is a more respectful, but also kind of, they're really looking in this woman's life, and she is not handling spotlight very well. And she's also a very bad liar. But yeah, I like the show a lot. It was a good docuseries. It made me love an animal that I had no idea existed, even though I've seen Buddy.
You know what this reminds me of? If you remember Bubbles, Michael Jackson's chimpanzee, go read his story. It's heartbreaking and beautiful.
You wrote a book?
Go read his story. I'm telling you.
Well, AI wrote it on behalf of Bubbles, but monkeys are dangerous. They can rip your face off.
Oh. And they go into that. They kind of go over like the most amazing, chimpanzee stories, the ones you've heard of, where the chimp rips the lady's face and eats her hands. There's a couple of chimps that they kind of go into that and the dangers of why you should not be owning anything like this. You can't control this kind of thing. But yeah, watch it.
All right, Chimp Crazy. We're going Chimp Crazy. All right, that was good. Thank you, sir. All right, let's do Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Good show.
Spider
Wow.
Dan's going to take it. This is his second review. I'm letting him go second. Just saying it's really late there in case he has to fall asleep.
Spider Dan from the UK is talking about Mexico and the USA.
I
Let's do this.
I mean, it's a whole mixing and mashing of cultures.
This is happening. This is happening right now.
So last time I brought Boondock Saints, which was a lot more problematic than I remembered, but I still enjoy it. I saw it when I was, a young teenager, so it's got. I've had some fond memories with it. This isn't quite as problematic, but there is a little something that is quite problematic. But I kind of grew up kind of watching all this stuff, kind of late night, kind of catching things. And I saw Desperado, and I absolutely adore Desperado. It's like the greatest Punisher movie that was never made. It's probably the first revenge flick I saw. It's probably the first time I heard like a Spanish guitar, probably. I think the soundtrack's amazing. Fell in love with Salma Hayek, still very much in love with Salma Hayek. Kind of fell in love with Antonio Banderas a little bit as well. Not necessarily my bag, but if it was my bag, he would be the first on my hit list. And yeah, just a wonderful, amazing story. Robert Rodriguez, very kind of guerrilla filmmaker, shooting from the hip, trying out all these different kind of styles and different things. He's done some stuff I really love. There's other stuff, a lot of his kid-based stuff I haven't really watched. I haven't really seen Spy Kids or any of that stuff. It doesn't really interest me as much as his other stuff. I adore Sin City, read all the comics after seeing the film. And this one I kind of hadn't watched for a very long time. And it's not quite as maybe as good as I remember. It's got quite a convoluted plot. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of stuff going on. But I still really, really enjoyed it. And revisiting this was like really fun. I was like, no, I do love this. This is still silly and fun and like bombastic and sexy and stylish. A lot of the actors wrote their own music, their own themes for the characters, like Johnny Depp. It's got an amazing cast like Ruben Blades, Willem Dafoe, Mickey Rourke, Salma Hayek, Antonio Banderas. Enrique Iglesias was a thing at that time, so he's in it.
He's my hero.
Yeah. There you go. An amazing kind of ensemble and just a great kind of just a really kind of a real cultural touchstone, I think, as well. It's set on the kind of around the Day of the Dead as well. And yeah, Johnny Depp absolutely steals the show as his character Agent Sands, as his FBI agent, who is very weird, very quirky. He dresses as a priest at one point and does a Marlon Brando impression. So weird. But the choreography, the use of digital camera and special effects. They were using like rubber guns, and you wouldn't know. They're just going like pew 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 with these rubber guns. But the way he shoots it, scores it.
What kind of guns?
Pew pew rubber guns. Apparently, like Antonio Banderas was going like bam bam bam. And they're like, don't do that, Antonio. You're ruining it. Don't
see if you can get him to do it again.
That's how I do it. I know Tom Holland did the same when he was doing the Spider-Man films. He was going.
When I was watching it, I thought they were steel guns.
No,
you're saying they were
rubber guns. Rubber. But yeah, they couldn't apparently get the guns through the Mexico border or something. I don't know what the situation there was.
Not if you ask somebody's.
You gotta know who to ask. You gotta know who to ask.
They've been poured in.
I'm sure if Robert Rodriguez knew the guy, he would have done it.
I don't know what you do at 2:30 in the morning, but here the planes drop guns. That's what we do here.
Yeah, we don't have so much fun with guns as you guys do over there,
especially in South Carolina.
But yeah, I love it. There's absolutely ridiculous moments. You got Mickey Rourke walking around with his pet dog, and it's got a wiretap on it. Willem Dafoe has been cast as a Mexican drug lord, which is the kind of one problematic element, but. I guess Robert Rodriguez is okay with it, so he cast him. So yeah, and yeah, the gunfights, the balletic kind of wonderful kind of almost flamenco dancing aspect to the choreography and the action scenes. Wonderful. I love the fact that, you know, he knocks a guy off a perch in a church. It's falling to his death. He's shooting at Antonio Banderas, and Antonio Banderas still shoots him on the way down just to make sure he's definitely dead. There's like just wonderful, beautiful kind of moments like that in it. I'm just like, Eva Mendes is in it as well. Just an amazing kind of, just brilliant.
And brilliant dialogue, like, don't be a Mexican, be a Mexican. So, like,
I've been saying that my whole life.
Yeah, what an amazing line. Like anything that comes out of like Johnny Depp's, yeah, exactly. Pew pew, exactly. This is how they sound to us from all the way over there. I can hear it, and they sound like pew pew. But yeah, I love the film, and again, it's not perfect. I do like what happens to Johnny Depp's character, and again, it's almost his version of like the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's a lot of stuff going on, or Once Upon a Time in America, not America, in the West. So it's his kind of like, you know, what's the other one? The Wild Bunch. It's like his grand kind of modern Western opus set in Mexico. I could have done with a bit more Salma Hayek as well, personally. I think that was another mistake.
Isn't that true for any movie, though?
That is true. That is true.
Just in my life, in my bedroom, in wherever.
She married to Ed Norton, or weren't they together at one point?
I wouldn't blame him. I would not blame him. I wouldn't blame anybody. Let her be married to everyone, including me. But yeah, I think it's a really fun film, and I think like just it's worth checking out. Again, it's not perfect. It's not Desperado. It's not maybe some of his other films, but it's not maybe Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Yeah. So yeah, there's
now.
That. Sorry, apologies. But you know, they have their audience, and again, I've not really seen it, so I don't know.
If you haven't seen it, then don't knock it.
I'm not judging it. I'm not judging it, but I'm maybe one day I will. Maybe one day.
That movie is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and again, that's fine. There's nothing. I'm not bashing it. I was merely joking.
Spider Dan hates guns.
I hate guns.
Boy and Lava Girl.
I hate guns. I hate Americans.
I hear Spy Kids has. He's a kid from Twilight's in it, the werewolf.
That's Shark Boy.
That's Shark Boy.
Yeah.
Actually, what's his name? Glenn
Taylor Lautner.
Yes.
You're right. That's not Spy. Isn't that his movie too?
He's in Spy Kids. He plays like one of the side kids who's like kind of like.
Oh, he's one of like the weird bad kids.
Didn't Rodriguez do the Shark Boy one too? Or
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think
made that as
they did another one recently for Netflix, which has
we are heroes.
the child of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, I think.
Oh right. And
I didn't know that.
Somebody dated Ed Norton.
Spoilers.
But yeah, I think she made an appearance, but someone else played Shark Boy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think they put a mask on him.
Very
or something.
controversial.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention Danny Trejo's in it as well, of course, because he's in all of those. And
you ever see Machete? Did you guys ever see Machete?
Oh yeah, Machete. Yes.
They need to do. How is there not like 10 Machete movies at this point?
Yeah.
I need another Machete in my life.
I mean,
Machete don't text.
11 Fast and Furious movies.
And it's like,
don't listen. I'll take, but I need 10 more.
Need more Machete.
Yeah. I don't know what the trilogy is you call it, the Mariachi trilogy, the Mexico trilogy, or whatever you want to call it. But I love that series of films, and I think you can see his auteurism and his unique style that he brings to all these kind of action movies that you kind of wouldn't get elsewhere. And From Dusk Till Dawn I love as well, and when he teams up with Tarantino, just such like a wonderful filmography he has, and again, there's a lot of them I haven't seen, and I'm not going to judge them, but I'm sure they're good in their own right. But the stuff I have seen, for the most part, I very much enjoy, and I think he is an absolute talent. And even his lesser work, even this, I still very, very much enjoy.
Didn't he make the vampire one with Quentin Tarantino and
from Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah, and then they hate each other now. Tarantino,
do they?
They've been going
because they did that Grindhouse
Yeah. Planet
Sharon
Terror.
did something bad about Clooney.
Yeah.
And Clooney. Yeah.
I worked
Clooney,
at like Blockbuster Video in like the mid 90s, and I remember like there was a guy who worked there that was super into film, and he was like always writing scripts, and he would give me movies to watch when I was like 15 and 16 as like my homework. And one was El Mariachi, and I was like, oh my god, this is that's like watching a John Woo film for the first time. You see El Mariachi, and then when you see Desperado, the evolution, you're like, this guy, he's going everywhere. And I remember going to the movies to watch Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and I have zero memories of this film except for one, and I need you to help me if this is true or not. Is there a scene where Johnny Depp has a fake arm and he throws this arm off and shoots somebody? That's this movie, right?
Yeah. So throughout the film, you like in the first scene, he sat having a meal and he has the same meal everywhere, and that's kind of part of his character. And he wants to balance the scales. Again, very convoluted plot. He wants to basically steal money during a coup d'état kind of thing. He interviews people when he gets information from the people he's speaking to. He always has a gun ready on them, but he has a fake arm like holding a fork.
Yeah.
And then later on in the film, someone spills coffee on his arm, and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry," and patting it down. And he's like, "It's fine. Don't touch me. Don't touch me." And the guy's like, "What the fuck? Why is he not? Why is he not burnt or in pain or anything? Why is he okay with this?" And then he goes, "Right, that spill just cost you your life," and he shoots the guy dead. Cheech Marin again is in it as well.
Yeah.
Who's
for
in all
30 some years, I would ask people if they've seen the movie where Johnny Depp was a Mexican that wore a fake arm for no real reason, and no one has ever remembered that movie.
Yes.
So thank you so much for
It does it like it's set up early in the film, and then there's a again in the climax that he uses it as the last kind of little.
Johnny Depp's not Mexican though, right? So
he's not. Neither is Willem Dafoe.
He's an actor, Jeff.
He's multiracial, actually.
Scarlett Johansson can be
so
Asian.
that could be one of them.
He was an American Indian in The Lone Ranger. He was Tonto.
He is all of us. Johnny Depp is all of us.
All right, Spider Dan knocked it out of the park. Nice job, man. Nice job. Let me see if I can figure out how to take this off. Okay, very good. Yeah, that was great. And then again, did you see Slow Horses? No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's go. Let's do Vampire Interview with the Vampire, at least season 2, but feel free to pull in as much of season 1 as you want. Catch us all up. Tonya Todd, our resident vampiress.
I was going to do Beetlejuice, so I happened to just finish watching this because I don't have AMC. But how can I not watch this series? So I binged it in a week. Really, I think I binged it about 4 days.
You're the one that takes advantage of that full free 7-day trial.
Yes, and it didn't even take me the 7 days because, I was drinking it in. I loved it. I already like the series. I did enjoy the movie. I wasn't wild about some of the casting choices, but I think that they did a good job with what they could do at that time. But this series is just so sensual and dark and rich and just luxurious. And so I was eager, I'll steal a pun from Dan, to sink my teeth into this season. And it did not disappoint. I mean, this is the part of the story that has less Lestat, so that is disappointing, but you can't really change that. And they found a way to keep him involved that felt real and honored his character, and just it worked throughout the entire season. There are some people who don't enjoy Sam Reed's version of him, but he's like just this catty little bitch, and I love him. Like he has the walk, he has the attitude. He does a brilliant job. And then the first season, they made some changes, like updating when it happened, and in doing so, they were able to change some of the races of the characters. And they did a great job of making that work, like making these tweaks work. They aged Claudia up more than I think they should have, but they also made that work. And I was curious, how are they going to continue in season 2, now that they've made her older, because that's going to change some of the motivations for what happens in the second season. But they made it work. And some of the casting choices, like this is the best Santiago I've ever seen. He was brilliant. And you're almost sad to see what happens to him. He had it coming, but
So is Interview with a Vampire it's a series, right, by Anne Rice. So is the TV series like all the books, or just but called the one thing, or is it like with season 1 the first book and now we're kind of in the second book? Is it taking us through the different books, or is
season 1 and 2 were the first book?
Okay.
They split it into 2 different seasons, and I have seen enough hints. Like, I don't do trailers and I don't read spoilers, but it appears that there's going to be a 3rd season with the same name that's going to continue the chronicles. But I don't want to know any spoilers about that. So
yeah. Now the movie did something bold, right? And to put itself in the lexicon of movies that should be remembered forever, they made Brad Pitt make out with an 11-year-old on screen. That's not similar to this, right? Like they don't do that, because
they don't do that.
Yeah, because that was weird when watching that movie back.
There's a lot of sexuality and sensuality, but it's not disturbing. It's exciting.
Okay.
I've got a podcast coming out this week, and my friend mentions that, and Kirsten Dunst being interviewed about that, and how weird it was going like to a kid, like, what's it like being a 12-year-old kissing a 33-year-old Brad Pitt? What's that like?
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't ask that nowadays.
No, and it shouldn't be a thing to ask, because it shouldn't be a thing that happens.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
They could have faked it. They could have just gone like this.
I mean, but they didn't.
Be creative, though. Figure it out. Like, don't make them kiss. Figure out something that's adds to it. They did it in the 30s. They did it in the 40s. I'm not saying go back to pre-code. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is
not going back.
But like, I think we all agree that like kissing a child
you can show it you can show that intimacy in a different way, couldn't you?
Yeah,
use that creativity from back in the day for this.
There are lots of different types of intimacy, and it didn't need to be that. And plus that character was supposed to be 5, not. Right. They had already aged up Claudia for the movie.
Oh, gadzooks.
I will say Kirsten Dunst is good in the movie. Really.
She's brilliant. She's wonderful.
Is she a vampire in the movie?
She is, yeah.
Eventually,
but not at the kissing scene.
She is.
I think
she's a vampire when they kiss.
The actress is still the age the actress is.
She's 11-year-old.
I'm just trying to understand the idea of this.
Yeah,
she is a vampire.
And the character is much older, and she yearns for partnership, companionship,
for adult intimacy.
Yeah, she wants to grow up, but she's been turned.
I guess
into
I'm
a
asking.
vampire
I was wondering if it's a 5-year-old or a 12-year-old body, but a 100-year-old vampire.
Yeah, because like the first book,
I mean, that's the argument, is that her brain is aging. Like, she is older, but her body is not aging, and she can't change, and so she wants to experience these things, but how can she?
Right. Yeah,
I mean, that's a whole horror series.
I'm not making an argument that Kristen Dunst should have had to kiss anybody. I'm just trying to understand Anne Rice's.
Jeff, you don't need to die on this hill. We all know where you stand. But like the first book is Interview with a Vampire, and then the second book is The Vampire Lestat, and that kind of goes into more of like Tom Cruise's character, right? Like Tom Cruise's character from the movie. I think he was Lestat.
The epitome of Lestat, the perfect Lestat.
Is that like, are they folding?
You know what?
I like Queen of the Damned.
I don't think that he wouldn't have been my choice, but he did well with the role. For being who he is, he did a great job with the role. I think that Sam Reed is a better Lestat.
Right on.
I kind of, that's my main criticism with the film. Once he's out of the film, I lose interest. Because I think that character is so interesting and fascinating.
Right, he's so compelling, and that's why I was, I'll admit the first season of this is much better because there's a whole lot more Lestat in it.
Good,
but this season was still interesting, and they found a way to keep him present in a way that didn't feel cheesy to me.
Nice. That's cool.
Speaking of Tom Cruise, I watched in book roles. I watched the first Reacher movie with him, and I gotta say that had I not seen the TV show and put the actual version in my head,
Yeah.
I thought he was fine. You know what I mean?
It was a Tom
I-
Cruise movie where he
Yeah.
named himself Jack Reacher. That's it. And
Well,
it's
I mean, the
fine.
thing is, he actually plays the role well. He just cannot look like that character needs to be played. Like that guy has to be hulking. He has to be super enormous. And young, small, tiny Tom Cruise saying these things, just it kind of puts off a different energy. And it's like,
You mean when he's
like,
looking up?
yeah, it's like a Napoleon syndrome.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean-
the small guy wants to fight everybody. I get it. Like, that's fine.
I'm 6'8". The small guy wants to fight me every time he sees me.
Yeah. And honestly, talking to
I
Reacher,
know.
I'll still say that Rebel Ridge would be a great Reacher film or series.
I agree.
So
I can't stop talking about Rebel Ridge.
That's
so,
such a
all right,
great
so
movie.
where do we, Tanya? Where do we watch Interview with the Vampire again?
AMC. And
AMC.
if you don't have access to it, get the free week because it's worth the binge, and it
Nice.
will hold your interest.
And is it coming back for season 3?
It is, but
Oh, good. Okay.
I don't think it's going to be all the characters, but because I don't read or watch spoilers, I can't testify to that.
Fair. All right, we're gonna check that one out. Sounds cool.
All right. Sounds good. Let's dive into some vampires. All right, what do we got here? We got
Or let them dive into you.
I think it's on Netflix also.
Oh, is it on Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
There you
I'll
go. Tanya, now watch it on Netflix. All right. Wait, the final season of Evil? I'm just discovering this.
It's 4 seasons. Yeah. Well, they're trying to bring it back. The fans are trying to bring it back. But I don't think it's good. They did a good job though, knowing that with like 4 episodes left, they were ending. So they did a good job tying things up. Like unlike Lost, which is
We'll start
reminds
over.
me
To
of,
start
like-
over, tell us what Evil is.
Oh yeah, okay. So Evil is a TV show that follows 3 assessors for the Catholic Church. One of them is played by Mike Coulter. He played Luke Cage on the Marvel series and a bunch of movies. Very good actor. He plays a seminarian in it that he's training to become a priest and deal with exorcisms. And then his team is Kristen, who is a mom of 4. Married mom of 4, who is a forensic psychiatrist, and she joins the team as a skeptic to kind of handle the psychiatric point of view in psychology. And then you have Ben, who is played by Asif Mandvi. I want to say it right. I want to make sure I got his name right. But he kind of rounds out the team as a technologist and scientist that is very skeptical. So what they do is they go out to different, whether it's a miracle or, somebody's saying they had a miracle, somebody saying they're possessed or whatever it kind of is that falls within that purview. They go out and assess it for the priests. If they deem it an exorcism, possible possession, a priest will take it from there. But basically, as you go through this series, you follow these assessors and the people they're dealing with. But there's a character, Michael Emerson. That's why I kind of brought up Lost a little bit. He played Ben in Lost. He is probably one of the greatest bad guys on TV. He was great in so many things. This is his absolute best. He kills it as Leland, who is their adversary. You find out that demons are real, hell is real, and there's also very good reasoning for like how science also plays into it and how technology is playing a part in it. So I don't want to give away too much. That's why I'm trying not to say too many things, because there's a lot of surprises in this show. And as you go on, you really care about these characters all the way through, and even the side characters that you're dealing with, good and bad. But I will tell you, there are some evil things that they do in this show. Like I'm sitting there, I'm like, that lives up to the name. Like you think about grotesque stuff in horror movies, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty evil. That's pretty disgusting.
Do animals die?
Everything dies. It's one of those shows. It's a great in the line of like mystery teams solving horror shows, which I love. Buffy, I love Angel. Going back to Scooby-Doo, I love Supernatural, X-Files, of course. So this falls really good in line with that. They do a good job keeping everything sort of tied together in a storyline. They add elements that they go directions that you're like, I didn't think a TV series would go that way. And it's pretty crazy. They live up to the name evil. Again, I feel so bad because like I don't want to say anything because when you watch it, it hits you and it affects you.
You already have me intrigued though. Like how long are the episodes and where do you watch it? Like you got me ready to take notes.
All 4 seasons are on Paramount Plus. That's where I watched it. It might be on Netflix too. It's definitely gaining steam. People are finding it now that it's gone, unfortunately. It started on CBS. And when you watch that first season, which is good, but starkly different from the second, third, and fourth. And the reason I say this is because every aspect of it, even the opening credits, which becomes so much better. You could tell the filmmakers, Robert Michelle King, once they were brought to Paramount Plus and said, here you go, do it there. They're like, cool, we can hit our stride. We don't have those limitations of CBS, and stuff like that. And once that happens, you're like, yes, this really picks up. His first season is very good, though. So that's my review.
I was going to say, you better not spoil it because you will discover a new hell if you spoil anything for Tonya, as I've discovered in the past.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience.
So
Yeah,
no one else on the panel has seen Evil. I think I just heard of it because I like the actor who plays Luke Cage. I met him at a Comic-Con. He's actually on my wall. But I never saw this one. So, but it sounds like it's
good in it too. Because they don't play against it. Like he brings up and they challenge the Catholic Church in it. They work for the Catholic Church, but they're always challenging their stances and everything else. And I love that about the show. Even him he's a black priest, and he's talking about how being a black Catholic priest, how you see they're exploited within the church and things like that. And they're saying this on the show, and I was like, I love it. I'm glad that you can tell like they're very much trying to be respectful, but at the same time they're like, but we're going to call it the bullshit, and I like that. That was a good episode. And they do it in clever ways because it's well written.
Very cool. Very, very nice. Well, that's it. That's all. That's what we got. Is there any odds and ends? Anything someone's been watching, caught up on? Anything like that? Any new trailers? They got the Thunderbolts trailer out.
We don't talk about trailers.
We don't talk about trailers.
Not what's on here. I have seen the trailer, but I'm not going to mention anything in it.
Good.
Well, we don't have to mention it, but it looks pretty good. It looks good.
Mr. McMahon's out. I would say check that out if you're interested.
I will say about the Thunderbolts trailer, I think they should have gone with the original idea from the comic, which is the idea that the villains are masquerading as heroes. And then eventually the villains like the idea of being heroes and make that shift. And, I think that's a more interesting idea than the Suicide Squad again.
I don't think they're going to do that now. I think that's kind of what they were thinking about until they realized what the Sentry can actually do. And I think that I do like that it's Bob from. Is that spoilers?
Yeah, she doesn't know anything.
I can't hear you. Just talk.
She doesn't know.
All right.
So
okay, I will move on. And I will say, if you're horror fans, especially,
but you have to let me know when I can come back.
Yeah,
you can come back. You can come back.
We're on.
We're on another topic now.
I did watch it because it seems like you guys are horror fans. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, The Substance with Demi Moore, it is pretty brutal, but I loved it. Like I was like, this is body horror at its craziest. So I'm not going to give any more up on that, but go check it out if you can.
Oh, nice.
Walmart
do not get that.
Yeah, I don't shop at Walmart.
Yeah, that is a
but
terrible service.
Thank you for the recommendation.
The TV shows on Walmart Plus are below average.
Oh, right. Okay, well.
Thanks for taking one for the team, Zach.
Yeah, I got to watch everything.
All right.
I'm booked in to see The Substance tomorrow, so I'm going to the cinema tomorrow to see it. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm a big body horror fan. So
that's it. You're in. There you go.
Speaking
All
of
right.
spoiler free, I'm seeing Megalopolis without any idea outside of knowing he's been working on this since the 70s. I have no idea what this is about, but Mick,
Even watching the trailer, you'd have no idea what it's about.
well, you told me the trailer was crazy, and I didn't watch
The
it.
trailer's like, "Welcome to
No,
Megalopolis."
No, don't say
That's
anything.
it.
You be
No,
careful.
it's
You be
trailer
careful
free.
now.
Get out of here.
That's the
Trailer
whole
free show.
trailer.
I mean,
I don't even think he says the whole sentence. I think I filled it in.
I mean, it does sound like the perfect trailer for Tonya if it doesn't say anything about the film.
Yeah.
I do. I want.
I like watching the trailers after you watch whatever it is to find out, hey, because a trailer can be a work of art.
Especially modern trailers. They're awful.
Right. They just give everything away.
Yeah, like don't go see the James McAvoy movie if you've seen one trailer. That is the entire movie. Also, it's a remake of 2 years ago, which is annoying anyway. Whatever. Go ahead, Jeff.
What James McAvoy movie?
Huh?
What
Don't Speak. That's like the Danish remake from 2 years ago.
Oh, See No Evil?
I'm going to watch the Danish remake first and then watch it.
That movie's phenomenal. When I was watching James McAvoy, I was like, this sounds so familiar. It's almost verbatim the same, just not as good. But that one's on Shudder.
Zach, I know what you're talking about because I saw it for a moment when I was in the theater because, seeing Deadpool and seeing Beetlejuice. But I bring headphones to the theater so that I don't hear anything, and I just close my eyes if there's anything I don't
hardcore. Look
see.
at that.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you all for a fabulous episode. I appreciate y'all. Tonya, say goodbye. Tell everyone, when's your movie coming out? When's this coming out?
We're working on the special effects for that right now. We're actually.
Do you need any gun sounds? Because Spider Dan is available.
You know what? There are no guns in the movie, but there is a vampire.
I helped fund the film as well, so I'm very much looking forward to it and hearing the character I named. I was gonna give Tonya like a really hard name, like like Acty McCast person or something. I can't remember what I suggested. Fangy McToothface or something, but
something ridiculous. But he decided he wanted to stay friends.
True. I didn't want the hell on earth that Tonya can bring to
even though life. He's all the way across the pond. What could I possibly do?
She has that kind of reach. She has that kind of reach.
I have people there too.
Exactly.
You're too funny.
But before the movie comes out, this is coming out. Comics Lit comes out next week.
Hell yeah. Very cool.
So you can pre-order now, or you can wait and buy it in bookstores and on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and all of the usual places next
week. Hold it up.
Yeah. I'm a physical media person, so I'm going to go get it.
I like it.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. And I'm already working on the essay for volume 2.
That's cool.
Nice.
Oh, you're so talented. Yeah. All right, Spider Dan. Besides funding Tanya's movies,
and guesting on Banned Books.
Yes, on Banned Books that came out today. It was today, wasn't it? I'm losing track.
Yes.
Now. Yes.
Well, today for us.
For us, yeah. Well, yeah. Whatever day we're on now, I don't even know. But go and check out Tonya's Banned Books, all of that. It's all great. You can find me at spiderdanandthesecretballs.com. My next podcast will be Spider-Man 3 versus The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And it is almost a 3-hour discussion of those two films. So we're going to find out what is the best of the worst Spider-Man sequels or Spider-Man films in general. It's a really good discussion. We get in proper in depth, and it might surprise you how it ends up, how it all tallies up at the end. It's a close one though. It is a close one. But and then we've got Shockphobia Fest coming up, which is like my Halloween season. I'm working on that currently. Tonya's going to be on that. We're going to be covering The Batman, as that is set on Halloween, a long Halloween, if you will. Lots of cool stuff coming up, lots of fun. But Spider-Dan and the Secret Bores, BORES. It is not boring. It's anything but this podcast.
All right, Nick, say goodnight.
Good night.
All right. No popcorn buckets or anything?
I don't know. You told me good night. Say good night. So,
so obedient. I like that.
The Scene Snobs, Snobtober, starting in 5 days. That's our anniversary month. We're going on a 5-year anniversary on the 8th. We're going to do our show. Join in. We're going to have a good time with that. We are doing a giveaway right now. All of our patron members, free or paid tier, are entered. And on October 31st, we are going to do, just spin the wheel, and 2 lucky winners are going to take home a prize each. One is the handbook of the recently deceased popcorn tin from AMC, and one is the Beetlejuice souvenir cup from AMC. So you can win those. Just join up on the Patreon. You get our newsletter, you get links, you get discounts, giveaways, all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
Sounds amazing. And Zach?
Yeah, I do a lot of dumb stuff under some nobodies, but I also voice act for the Jack Billings guys. The new season's about to come out. I play a character called Adam Lynch, the Ohio butt stabber, and all I want to do is stab butts. That's all I want to do in my entire life is grab a knife of any sharpness, any blade, double-sided, triple-sided, and just find a butt and just sink it in, slightly tap it, graze it if I can, but I look for butts and I stab butts. That's all I want to do is stab butts. So
There's
I
your
do that.
soundbite right there.
season 3.
That's not a clip. I don't know what will be.
I like big butts.
So much more butt stabbing than you could imagine a certain amount of butt stabbing, and I can guarantee you there's at least triple the amount of stabbing butts that goes on in the Jack Billings universe.
A very relatable desire.
We all want to do it. We just don't want to talk about it, and that's what I'm here for.
All right.
Here in America, we value.
Thank you for your transparency.
We value pews. We value baseball, Walmart,
and rubber guns.
And the third thing.
I'm Jeff Dewaskin, host of Classic Conversations. I have a good episode, interesting episode. Richard Gurman, he was Married with Children pretty much the whole time. Showrunner at one point. Talks about a lot of the behind the scenes and how that show evolved, and from you forget what a breakout it was at the time with the emerging Fox network and all that kind of good stuff. Lots of fun stuff there. In the meantime, all right, well, thanks everyone. You guys are awesome, and we'll see you guys probably not next week because we got a thing, and then we'll be back the week after. All right, later, everybody.
Adios.
Bye.
Is that Dan's picture? That's Dan's face?
That's Dan.